Welcome to another episode of Your Hope-Filled Perspective, where it's always our goal to restore hope, renew minds, and empower listeners to live in their God-given identity. We're approaching that time of year. You know the time where we've got lists of gifts to buy, meals to prepare, decorations to put up, and sometimes the stress and the overwhelm of the holiday season takes our emphasis off the reason for the holidays. So today I'm excited about having this guest back on the program. You know her, Marcia Ramsland. She's known as the Organizing Pro. And today, Marcia and I are going to talk about how to get organized and simplify your holidays. Marcia is well known as the leading online organizing coach, a business productivity expert, and the author of Simplify Your Holiday Season, as well as Simply December Devotions. We're going to put all this information for you in the show notes that you can find at drmichelleb.com. But Marcia is nationally recognized as a media guest appearing in Women's Day, my favorite, Real Simple magazine, the Wall Street Journal, and Martha Stewart Radio. Marcia believes anyone can become more organized, even you, with the motivation, momentum, and mastery which she provides in her online courses and fast track coaching. Marcia was with us in a previous episode when we talked about organizing our life and simplifying things. But today I've asked her to come back and share with her wisdom about how to get organized and simplify for the holidays. Welcome back to the program, Marcia.
Well, it's so great to be here. And during the holiday season, I switched my title to the holiday coach. And that's really amazing because I was the person up on Christmas Eve wrapping presents for years. And then I ended up being the holiday spokesperson for Sam's Club. So I have come a long way and I want to take our listeners through it too. They're just going to feel like, oh, I never knew that. That was my feeling and I want to share that today too.
I'm so glad to have you here because I think all of us can get better at simplifying for the holidays so that we put our focus exactly where it needs to be. But for those who didn't hear your first episode on your hope-filled perspective, would you share where your passion came from to be the organizing pro?
Well, it didn't come out of glory. It came out of a pit. So your mess becomes your message, as you've probably heard. I remember when my three kids were 6 years old, a preschool, and a 6 month old. And the day my husband was coming home at a normal dinner time, and I looked at the clock, 10 minutes till he came home. I looked at laundry piles, I looked at dishes all over the kitchen sink, and my kindergartner was slowly emptying the dishwasher to help. My 4 year old was coloring right off onto the white countertop. My 6 month old was not sleeping through the night. And in my intelligent calm, I spaghetti sauce faster, and out of my mouth came these words: "Someone's got to get organized." And my kids just froze and looked at me, and I thought, "What did I just say?" And then I recovered and decided, by the ages of everyone in this room, I guess that would be me. And I started to read everything written on organizing back in the 80s, and it was only written by left brain men, no offense, who said, you just make a list, stick with the top item, check it off, and go to the next one. Well, as I started getting organized and doing systems, get the dishes done, the laundry done, the clutter out of the house, I thought, we women couldn't find the list, even if we can't do it because our lives change so fast every hour. So I particularly have been doing this the last 36 years since that little 6 month old is now 36 years old. And I love helping people see time in a different way, see their life in a different way. And today we're going to look at the holiday season in a way that you probably never have seen. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited to jump into that. What is special about having you on the program is I've been reading your books since the 80s. But
Really.
then I think it was in 2019, you and I had the opportunity to participate together in the Revive and Thrive Summit, and we became friends. not even knowing that we previously lived about 10 minutes from each other. So it's fun when God creates connections and brings those connections to real life relationships. So, friends, I could tell you, Marcia doesn't just write and speak about this, she lives it. But let's jump in. Marcia, I know that the holidays can be a particularly stressful time, especially for women who
Mm-hmm.
tend to be the ones who are given the responsibility of the shopping, the meal planning, the wrapping, the baking, all the things. So, when is the best time to start preparing for the holidays?
That's an excellent question, and I know the answer finally. One of my class members said, "It's always too early to start until it's too late to begin." I
Oh,
thought, isn't that the perfect saying? You just feel like if I start, it's too early. If I wait, it's too late. So here's my story. I would be up on Christmas Eve wrapping. And I said, I am not doing like this again next year. I'm going to start early next year. And of course, every woman says that. I'll start early next year. So the next year, I started early, but I forgot to wrap early. And I was up again on Christmas Eve. And I thought, this has got to stop. We're going to figure this out. So in January that year, I took out calendars from like the last 4 years and I laid them out and I looked at them and I thought, there's a pattern. I'm going to find it. And so all of a sudden, it lit up like a light bulb. I'm like, that's the answer. Thanksgiving is a floating holiday. Some years it's 4.5 weeks between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we feel like, I got this. This is easy. Holidays were easy. The next year is probably 3.5 weeks. And then we're all stressed out, and you're like, what's the matter? So I had been using Thanksgiving to trigger my holiday shopping because I thought I don't want to, quote, commercialize Christmas. And when I realized you don't have to wait till Thanksgiving, and now with online shopping, certainly you don't, but you could, but don't do that. Amazon says get it done by Thanksgiving. So I look back and I found there's one holiday that is always 8 weeks before Christmas. It's not Labor Day. It is Halloween, and the next day, November 1st, is the day to trigger your activity. So I have divided those 8 weeks into three parts: things to do, places to go, people to see. And of course, the best part is people to see when we get together with people at Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. But if you don't do the things to do before Thanksgiving, that's when you feel the crunch. And the reason is there's so many little things to do. None of them are hard, but if you wait, they are total stress because there's too many little ones. So what I do, I teach a holiday class. We start early in November and meet weekly, and women go, "Oh, you mean I'm really ready by Thanksgiving? I can enjoy Handel's Messiah. I don't have to rush and home and order online and expedite shipping and pay all these extra charges." So, what I have people do in that time and things to do, and it's in the book, it's laid out perfectly that way. You would start your list. Now, many people, and here's the quiz. I'll ask you, Michelle, can you find your gift list from last year in like 30 seconds?
I can. I have a spreadsheet going back 10 years.
Okay, all right. You are in the 1%. Okay. You are top.
I was desperate.
Well, most people can't because they use the back of an envelope and just kind of did a brain dump and then crossed it off and then they threw it out. But now we can do it sooner and you can do a spreadsheet. And I teach people how to do a Google spreadsheet. I teach them how to do wish lists and send it to the family so you get it back with a list of links actually of what the family wants. And it's just so cool. So what I have people do first is set their gift center in your
Say that again.
gift
What do you
wrap.
have them do first?
What's that?
What's the first thing you have them do?
Have them do a gift wrap center. In the gift wrap center, that's the place where you have either Christmas bags, you have tissue paper, you have rolls of Christmas paper that is the same length. Don't get a jumbo and then a small one because it's sticking out from under your bed. You trip on it the rest of the year. So you get that together, you put a dedicated scotch tape, dedicated scissors, dedicated pen, and don't forget gift tags. So those 7 things, people that are in the book, they get that together and they go, oh, you mean I don't have to run around at night trying to get scissors and scotch tape? No, just buy an extra one and put it in there. The second thing that we do is have people, when they start decorating, go through their decorations and donate them. Now, here's a story, Michelle, on myself. I remember the year, like many people may have done, where they said, okay, when I put away the decorations, I am going to donate. So I separated out what I was going to donate, what I kept, very neat. January went off to the charity and I said, here's my bag. And the man opened the door at the charity and he looked at it and he laughed at me. And I'm like, what's so funny? He said, lady, we don't have room to store decorations 10 months of the year any more than you do. You have to donate in November. I'm like, oh, that's insightful. And so I teach women that, and they go, oh, that makes so much sense. And then we have people take pictures of them. So if by chance you have a broken leg or something and the family says, oh, but we can't decorate, you say, here are the pictures. Yes, you can. And it's all, your boxes are labeled and you hand them the pictures and they go, okay, we can do that. And it gets done. So those are the 2 big things, is setting up that gift wrap center and the decorations. The third one is gift giving. Are you ready for this? You have a spreadsheet. I'm so proud of you, Michelle. So I teach people this in the class, and they can download the copy that I use on Google Sheets. It's in the Holiday Planning Hub and that I have for people. And then I teach them how to do wish lists. So in a Google Doc, you can put a link towards what you want and you put the name in the family. And then you can also do an Amazon wish list. Well, this is new for a lot of people and people don't fill it out. And you just say, I need this by Thanksgiving. Otherwise, I'm going to give you another tie. And they go, don't give me a tie. Just, kind of humor them along. And they start to fill it out. And that way you have something that they want. You're going to spend the amount of money you want. You can give them a price range of what from 25 to maybe 15 to $25 or 25 to 50. So you give them a range, and that way they have fun doing it. And you know what? I have little grandchildren that are kindergarten to 6th grade, and we get on Zoom together and say, what would you like for Christmas? And we go through Amazon, and they're like, oh, I like that, I like that. And then they decide which they want more, and I have about 8 choices for them. And it's so easy. The only thing is, Amazon is saying, you have to do your shopping early because they may run out. And early means pretty much by Cyber Monday that you get the shopping done so that you can get things in time and that they still have it. So gifts take about 50% of your work, but if you've done the gift wrap center and you wrap as you get the gifts and you have those lists from people, even if they won't give you a list, I say the hardest thing is you have to give them your list first. And you're like, oh, I don't need anything. Well, they're not going to give you a list unless you give them a list. So if they ask you, have 6 to 8 things, book, massage coupon, whatever it is that you'd like, and they will reciprocate and they'll get some ideas. So gifts and decorations, and you will be on your way before Thanksgiving. It makes it so much easier.
That is a great start. And then if you do all that before Thanksgiving, you can actually enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yes. And Thanksgiving, I have in the book a whole section on Thanksgiving. I have a turkey menu, what to 2 days before, 2 days before, one day before, and what to have your helpers who come that day and say, what can I do to help?
Mhm.
You just tell them what to do. You've cleaned your house a couple days before. And there's even 10 conversation starters. So that way you can pick a question. You can type them out or write them out. Have people draw a question and answer. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food? What year did the Pilgrims settle? And what did the Indians and Pilgrims eat? So you could do a contemporary or traditional, and then you can move to what are you most thankful for this year since last Thanksgiving? And then when you do the New Year's part, we say, what do you want to leave behind this year? And what do you look forward to the New Year's? Thank Christmas, New Year's tips right in the book.
Such good ideas. So, friends, if you're not picking up on this, you need to get Marcia's book. It will help you. And I will have all the information about her ministry, about her courses, about her book in the show notes at drmichelleb.com. Friends, we're going to take a real quick commercial break, but we've got more to talk about in terms of how to get organized and simplify your holidays with organizing pro Marcia Ramsland when we return. We'll be right back. Welcome back to your Hope-Filled Perspective. Today, we are talking with my friend, Marcia Ramsen. Many of you may remember from when we had her on the program previously, but today we're talking specifically about how to get organized and simplify your holidays. Marcia, let's back up for just a second, because I'm really curious from your perspective as the organizing pro, what do you think causes the most stress and our organizational efforts to go out the window during the holidays?
When you think about it, we already fill our days 24/7, okay? And now you're adding like strings of lights. We had a neighborhood party, and the host, the husband, had put up so many strings of light. We all walked over to the house in the neighborhood and went, "Wow, that's great!" And then the lights went off, and then it went back on, and we're like, "Yay!" And then on and off and on and off, and finally, after about 4 or 5 times, we said, "Ken, we're going inside. Looks great. Good luck." And then after the party, we came out, and he was still struggling with them. And my husband, who's an engineer by background, I said, "Honey, what happened?" He said, well, he had strung together 7 strings of light, and the socket only holds 4. I thought, that's exactly what women go through at the holidays. We already have a busy life, and now we're adding decorations. Now we're adding social events. Now we're adding gifts, and now we're adding family expectations and family emotions. And so that's why we have that stress at the holidays. It's We're not subtracting anything from our life. We are just adding 4 more strings of light, so to speak. And that's why we stress out. Women are saying, I can't wait till the holidays are over. It's because of all those extra things. So when I talk about simplifying the holidays, it means starting with the 8-week calendar, which you can get on my holiday hub. Every year we update it. I also have a 4-week holiday plan in the book, and a 2-week and a 10-day countdown if you really don't get started till 10 days before. So the most enlightening thing I would say that helps women is to list everyone they give a gift to. My friend and I went to lunch, and she said, Marcia, don't you just love the holidays? I said, actually, I don't. She said, you don't love the holidays? You're the holiday coach. She said, why don't you love the holidays? And I said, okay, between you and me, I have to mail gifts to 5 states, and I stand in the post office. I bought to every state. I have relatives. So I have nephews to send to, and I have cousins and people, and I'm just listing this misery story. And she said, Marcia, how old are those cousins? I said, I don't really know. I think they're 24, 26, 27. She said, stop it. You should have stopped when they were 12. And I'm like, you can stop giving gifts? She said, of course. And I thought, oh, that'll really break family relations. And she said, you call your sisters-in-law and see. I took a deep breath. It took me 4 days. Finally, I called and I said, Mary, now that your son has gotten married, would you mind if, like, we don't start and we don't continue exchanging gifts? And I held my breath. And she said, if that's what you want, that's fine. And we hung up. And I thought, I think it's okay. And so I hung up, and then I called the other sister-in-law who always gave great gifts. And I said, Ellen, would you mind if we stop giving gifts for the kids because we have to mail and everything? And she said, no, that's fine. And I thought, you mean I've been doing it all these years and I didn't have to? And it was such freedom. So simplifying is about looking at your expectations. It literally, Michelle, I know women that put up 2 to 4 Christmas trees. Seriously, Christmas will happen if you only put one up or if you just don't put any up. And, and if you look at the number on your list, say, no, I ain't Uncle John in about 7 years. Maybe I don't need to give gifts anymore. And just talk and do that. So that is the freedom that comes in simplifying when you take all these extras out and you go, I don't have to go to the post office. That's tremendous. And even if you're shipping, and you're asking whoever, the sister-in-law, to wrap the presents and hide them, it still takes the stress out. And so you want to be able to come through the holidays enjoying it and actually write down what you enjoy. And I'm chuckling because my friend Pam Farrell asked her 3 boys, what do you enjoy about the holidays? And we women have ideas what our family enjoys. And the boys said, we really like decorating the tree. She's like, what? It's not the Christmas that I make it. I said, no, we just like to decorate the tree together and have hot cocoa. That simplifies what you need to
Yeah.
do. So ask the family, and that's a great way to simplify as well.
We had to do something similar to what you did in calling all the sisters-in-law and saying, do you mind if maybe we stopped giving gifts when my husband was diagnosed with cancer? It was all I could do to keep the house running while he was in treatment, continue working. And I thought, that's one more stress I don't need. And what I think happened, Marcia, when we asked friends and family, do you mind if we not do this? I think it actually brought relief to them because then they didn't have to do it either. They just didn't want to breathe the first one to breathing up.
Mhm. Totally. And that conversation is hard to have, but think of the opportunity. I mean, Ellie Kay, my friend, a family financial expert for America's Family Financial Expert, she said people are paying off Christmas debt until May.
Yeah.
This is not right. We need to be putting money aside, and at the end of Christmas, you don't have debt from the holidays. So, um, not giving gifts to everyone relieves other family stress for them financially and also for you. Honestly, a phone call, a Zoom call, that's really more precious because who needs a basket of bath soaps? They'd rather have a conversation with you and catch up. So you did the right thing and you started a really good trend.
And it's worked great for us ever since. It's kept things simpler, which I've so appreciated in the ups and downs of life. So I would be curious, Marcia, what suggestions do you have for simplifying the decorating for Christmas? You just mentioned a neighbor who, put up 7 strings of lights. Honestly, we've never put up outside lights. That was just too much of a burden for me to bear. And we appreciate everybody else's lights. I'm not denigrating anybody else who likes to do that, but for me, that was not something I wanted to add to my already over busy schedule. But how about the rest of us when it comes to decorating? How can we simplify there?
Okay. Let me just tell you though about outside lights. The people have been getting my 8-week calendar every year at organizingpro.com. And now it's a tradition, and I hear from so many women, their husband says, where's that calendar? What's the date I need to put up the lights? And so I tell women, just have it ready, that the lights will be ready. And then the day after Thanksgiving, when the men say, what should we do today? Say, oh, would you like to come shopping with me or would you like to put the outside lights up? It's like giving a child 2 choices with the right answer being what they want. And they go, oh. And the only thing I say is don't turn them on until December 1st so you don't annoy the neighbors because nobody wants, the neighbor that puts them on in November. So at least wait till December 1st. If not December 10th, you will have more relationship with your neighbors. Now, to answer what do you need inside? You need inside what you want. And so, um, what is meaningful to you? So, usually, believe it or not, I have people start with the table centerpiece because that way you sit there every night, put some candles with it, and that way you'll be able to enjoy it. Candlelight, people talk, they sit more, and so candles are great on the dinner table. Then think about what's the focal point in your house. And if you can put a tree where people can see it from the outside and you can see it from the inside, it's doing double duty, and that's great.
Good idea.
So do what you like, and what doesn't get put up, say, do I really need this? And that might be the time to let it go. I take pictures and I recommend people do. You can just keep them on you don't even have to print them. Just keep them on a Christmas decorating file on your computer or your phone. And every year I look at it and I go, did I put the ribbons horizontal or do they go vertical? I can't remember. And so even I look at the decorations to remember, but that's one thing you don't have to remember. So, Michelle, what do you like to decorate with? It sounds like you prefer the inside. What's your favorite?
I do, but what's always special to me is I've got these red berry wreaths that can be seen from the outside, but we can see them from the inside. And it makes such a simple but elegant statement. And then we've got a Christmas tree. I used to put up two trees, a
Uh-huh.
crystal tree, all crystal ornaments for me, and then the family tree. Well, the family didn't care about the crystal tree. So I stopped putting that one up.
Exactly. I had a friend that was that is an interior decorator, and I spoke on the holidays the week of Thanksgiving to our professional women's group. And I said, we are only getting together at Thanksgiving, so I'm celebrating my daughter's birthday at breakfast. We're celebrating Thanksgiving at lunch, and we're celebrating Christmas at dinner on Thanksgiving Day. We don't
Wow.
have any decorations up. And she came afterwards. She said, I'll help you. And I said, oh, we have red and green decorations. I really kind of tired. She said, so we, Michaels, stood there looking at all the ornaments, and she said, what do you like? And I'm like, aren't you going to tell me what I'm supposed to do? And she said, no, you decorate with what you like. And so I found gold, different, just all different balls, and teal, Michelle, and and the bronze. Yes, you and I are teal gals, and it's just really nice. But it kind of floored me when she said, "What do you like? Decorate with what you like." So everyone, you have the freedom to decorate with what you like. You heard it here.
I love it. So let's talk about another aspect of the holidays that I think can stress people out, both men and women, but
Yes.
particularly for the women. What suggestions do you have for simplifying meal planning and preparation?
Okay. Um, you want to Let's see. Okay, I'll answer that a couple ways. I'm thinking when you have an event to go to, and hopefully we can go this year, or if you're watching online, a special event, invite somebody that you can eat with and invite them over at that time so that instead of 2 nights out, one to get together with
Mm.
cousins, aunts, or uncles, try and combine it with an event, a Christmas concert or something. That's a great way to simplify the meals and to make it special, and that way you don't have as much to do. Along with that, you want to put in your calendar what you do traditionally. We have 3 churches around us that we like to go to their Christmas event. So it's on the calendar, find out when they are. We go to those and we invite my girlfriends to one, our family to another, with the grandkids to another, and then attending our own church with theirs. So for meals, I would say try and do it combined with an event. That makes it easier. Um, you're not going to make new meals. And the great thing about the holidays, the traditional favorite foods are what people want to eat. So you write out what that is, just pull out the recipe, keep it in your 3-ring notebook that I suggest for your holiday hub, and it makes the meals a lot easier.
Oh, you're so right. I've got a 3-ring binder and it's got all the recipes. So I don't have to wonder where they are. I pull them out every year. And I would go so far as to say, don't be pressured to do the traditional meal. My family, for example, doesn't care much for the traditional Thanksgiving meal. So we do something that is so absurdly different, but they love it. We have pizza fondue and peanut butter pie on Thanksgiving. Nobody else that I ever known would do that. But I'm looking forward to the day when I have daughters-in-law, because then my sons can go and have the traditional meal with the daughter-in-law's family, but they'll still want to come home for pizza fondue and peanut butter pie.
Good idea. I think that's a great way. And the tradition many people have of putting 2 corn kernels by each place, and then a 3x5 card, I fold them in half and put a sticker on it, the person's name. And then before dessert and Thanksgiving, have them write 2, if not 3 things they're thankful for that year. And then we go around and share that and have a little wicker basket that they drop in their kernel of corn, and each one as they tell what they're thankful for. And I have all those 3x5 card tinted cards of place cards, and those will be nice to share with them someday. Probably scan them and send them off to everybody, but as long as my basket holds them, I'm going to keep them because those are special.
What a great idea and a lovely tradition. Marcia, let's talk for just a minute, because I think the stress of the holidays that causes us sometimes to lose our organizational symptoms also means that we lose the real meaning of Christmas. So, how do we keep the real meaning of Christmas as our focus?
Mm. I have 2 ideas for you on that, and they came out of frustration of my own. I remember thinking, okay, Christmas Day, I'm going to get up early, maybe even light a candle. I'm going to read Luke 2. I'm going to meditate and have a wonderful time with the Lord looking at the birth of Jesus. And do you know what? We're the cooks, and we kids wake up, grandkids wake up early, and that's the day everybody gets up early. It didn't happen, and each year I'd go, this is not working. I need to do it on Christmas Eve, but some people like me were up wrapping presents, and that wasn't very spiritual either to read it then. So, what I did was look at Luke 2. There are like 22 verses, and I created simply December devotions so that starting December 1st, it has the Christmas story, easy read across 2 pages, but then it tells one verse. It tells about a little bit about the history about it, and an application for today and a prayer for today, plus 3 things that you can do today to make your holiday easier, and then a tip for the day as well. So people love this because when you get to December 25th, Christmas Day, you feel like you've celebrated every day. And that way your heart is starting to move in that direction from December 1st on, and you never feel like, oh, I didn't celebrate the meaning of Christmas, but you do, and your heart is full by the end of it, and that is a beautiful way to do it. It works great. The second way is also in this little book, and if you have a nativity scene, we happen to have one, an olive wood one that my brother, who wrote the NIV Bible Atlas and has been in Israel for 40 years, leading tour groups. Carl Rasmussen, it's a plug for him. Um, he got us one, and we have that. And instead of me putting out the nativity scene, I find little children, either neighbors or my grandkids, and then we read the Christmas story, and it's right here. Even if you don't have a Bible, it's right here in the first Christmas. And I give each person a different paragraph to read, and then each of the kids is holding one of the nativity pieces. And then there are 6 questions you can answer. You could make the questions relate to whatever pieces you have. So the littlest child answers first. who was the baby that was born at Christmas. And when I did this with neighbor kids once, they looked puzzled and said, my brother Aaron. And I thought, maybe not everybody in America has heard the Christmas story. We need to work on this. And then who was his mother and who was her husband? So you go through that, and the kids are putting the pieces in the nativity scene, and it's more meaningful to them. And the parents, or whoever is gathered, each one reads a paragraph, and everybody pays attention because their spot is coming. And then you sing Away in a Manger or Joy to the World, and that's a real special, meaningful thing to do when you get together to celebrate.
What a great idea to help our children remember the real meaning of Christmas, that it's not the presents under the tree or the special meal that's on the table, but it is about the Christ child. Love that idea. Now,
One other idea is when you have that, whatever your Christmas meal is, between the dinner and dessert, to have a candle where people, each person gets a candle, and they can share what they're thankful for to God, what they're thankful for, depending if you have people of faith or people not of faith. You're going to go around. So you dim the lights. And I remember the day before I did this the first time, I thought, I don't have any candles. I said, David, could you run out and get candles? We need, and I forgot the number we needed. We need 12 candles, just in case. We need 12 candles. And I'm picturing 10-inch white tapered candles he would come back. You know what he came back with? You
birthday
get
candles.
birthday candles.
I knew it.
I'm like, oh boy, everybody has to talk fast. So I decided to wisely start with the oldest, and it was the grandparents, and I would look and celebrate how God had been faithful, how they are so blessed, and for their spouse. And then they light the next one. And then it goes down. The kids are in rapt attention, and the adults are in rapt attention too, because they don't want to fire. So it goes all the way around. And then, I remember hearing my brother-in-law say he's thankful for his wife, and he wasn't one to really give kind words, and that was really special. And for spouses to say that about their spouse in front of the family
Yeah.
is really, really good for the family. And then for the kids to say, I'm thankful for my mommy and daddy. And the parents just melt. They're like, we
Yeah.
had a screaming match before we got here, and they're thankful for me. And I'm thankful for my G.I. Joe or whatever they got. And then again, sing white. Something about being in candlelight with all the lights dim, people will share something that they won't share with a dining room light. And it is precious. And if you've lost a loved one, you can even have the time, maybe not with candles, but to share about that person. What's one memory? And you'll see laughter and tears, but it's so meaningful. So, um, for those that are there and those that are missing, there's a way to celebrate and include them and still feel special.
Such good ideas. But for our listener who's struggling with maybe a chaotic, disorganized life and perhaps even dreading the usual chaos of the holidays, as we wrap up this episode, what hope filled perspective would you like to leave them with today?
There is hope for you. There are systems. We have a holiday class, but you probably have an organized friend, or you have a girlfriend in the same chaotic state. And you can say, okay, we're going to talk together and do something Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we have to report in what we did. And that way, when you just talk together, you get support. And we usually have 30 women or more in the class, and many listen to replay, up to 60 people. And the ideas that come and the nurturing, and sometimes somebody passes away during that class, and other people rally around. So my hope-filled perspective is you don't have to do it alone. That's what is the problem with the holidays. Women feel the whole burden. Don't do it alone. Get a friend, join Organizing Pro class, and you will feel so supported. And women come out and say, this was the best Christmas ever. You know, my daughter said that once, and she had kids of her own. She said, this was the best Christmas ever. And I said, what made it special? And she said, it was so peaceful, so calm. And that's what you find once you get a handle on organizing things. My son in law said that as well on a different year. And I said, what was it? He said, no drama. And I thought, wow, isn't that a lesson for us harried women at Christmas? Is to say, all the family wants is no drama. They want support, they want tradition, and just whatever will make the family harmony work as best as possible. So simplify, you organize, and then you can simplify and say, no, I don't need 200 people on my Christmas list. I'm going to simplify and I'm going to send um, an Instagram note to everybody. So whatever it is you simplify each year, do something quicker, and just remember who's by your side. The Lord says, I will never leave you or forsake you. I am with you. It's his birthday. He's going to help you with the ideas you need. This can be your best Christmas ever until the next year when it gets better and better.
I love that. Friends, I hope that you have appreciated this episode with Marcia. We are going to put all of our information about our upcoming class, her books, and her ministry and coaching on the show notes that you can find at drmichelleb.com. Marcia, I so appreciate you and your wisdom that came out of your own desperation many years ago. And look how many people have benefited now. So friends, what I want you to hear is this can be your best holiday season yet. But what you've got to do is avoid the temptation to compare and to compete with the neighbors and friends around you, and keep the real reason for Christmas your focus.
Good point.
This has been another episode of Your Hope-Filled Perspective with your host, Dr. Michelle Bengtson, and my guest, Marcia Ramsland. Until we get to chat again next week, may you have a hope-filled, peaceful, and less stressed week.